Good morning. So this is another one. Today we're going to look at secant. We're going to look at secant, multiple secant. Remember that we went over chord, chords, a segment that lie on the circle. But when it comes to secant, secant is a line or a reed that pass through the circle. Chord lies, the endpoint lies, stays on the circle. But for secant, the points must pass through the circle extended. Those are raised, those are lined. It's continuous forever. Chords stays on the circle, the endpoint stays on the circle. When this comes for secant, it's a line or a ray that passes through the circle. The endpoint doesn't have to stay on the circle. The endpoint may be extended in either direction. So that's the difference between secant and chords. So let's go over the theorem. Let's go over the theorems. The theorem says that if you have two secant segments share the same endpoint outside the circle, then the product of the length of one secant segment and the length of its external secant equal to the product of the length of the other secant and the length of its external secant. They're telling you that if you have two secant that share the same external point, that the external part of the secant times the entire secant is equal to the other external part of the secant times the entire secant. So let's break it out. They're telling you that if you take the external part, which is EA times EC, now EA in this case is 8. This is the external part of the secant from E to A is 8 times the entire secant, which is EC. Now to find EC will be EA plus AC. Right? Will be equal to the other external part of the secant, which is EB, times the entire secant, that will be EB plus BD. That's what the theorem is about. So let's go and do some application, and you will see what happens. And be aware that when you're doing those problems, you may end up with quadratic equation. So if you have quadratic equation, so from prior knowledge, you can use factoring, quadratic formula, or copying the square method. So whatever in this case is EA. EA is 8 times EC. EC is 8, is EA, which is 8, plus AC, which is 10. In other words, that EC is 18, 8 plus 10 is equal to the external part of the other secant, which is EB, that is X, times ED. In order to find ED is EB, which is X again, plus BD, which is 18. So that will give you an equation. Alright, in this case, we can start doing, simplify that. You will have 8 times 18 is equal, you do this with the property, this becomes X squared plus 18X. Now, you take 18 times 8, that's probably 144. So let's go out of that. That will be 4. 8, 14. That is 144. You will have 144 is equal to X squared plus 18X. Like I said earlier, your equation may become a quadratic. That's what we end up with. So from prior knowledge, you will know how to deal with a quadratic. We can either use quadratic formula, factoring, copying the square. In this case, I will use multiple option, I will use completing the square. Remember, completing the square, you have to take the b term, in this case 18. You will take 18, you divide by 2. That will give you 9, then you square 9. That will give you 81. Since you add 81 on that side, you have to add 81 on the other side. Then you will have 81 plus 144. That's about 225. You will have 5, 12. Then this will end up with 225 is equal. Then you're going to write that as a perfect triangle. That will be x. Your reference, whatever you find there, that was 9 plus 9. Then you square it. And now your goal is to find x by itself. Then you will have to take square root of each side. When you take the square root of that, that will give you plus or minus 15 is equal to x plus 9. Now in this case, you're solving for x. In order to solve for x, you will have to subtract 9. So you end up with x plus 9 is equal plus or minus 15. Therefore, you subtract 9 from each side. Then you will end up with x is equal minus 9 plus or minus 15. Those are your two answers. Then let's simplify that. You either have negative 9 plus 15. That's one answer. X is 6. And the other one that will be minus 9 minus 15. The other option is negative 24. Be careful when you have two answers. Therefore, you have to test, especially you're looking for length. So, the first instance, the negative one will be rejected. If you put negative 24 here, that will be negative. You don't want your length to be negative, so that is rejected out front. So, the other option, when x is 6, this will give you 6. Alright, let's see. Remember when we did that? That was 144. 18 times 8 was 24. Then let's see this. This will give you 6 times 6 plus 18. Then you will have 6 times 24. What is 6 times 24? 24 times 6. That will give you 14. 24, you carry 2, 12, 14. As you can see, 144 is equal to 144. So that is the first problem. Like I said earlier, we could have used this solve this problem differently. We could either use factoring when we're dealing with the quadratic formula. Those are the options that are available, or you could have used completing the square. So let's go back to see if we use completing the square. What we use completing the square. Let's see if we could have used factoring, what will have happened. In order to use factoring, you will have to subtract 144 to let this side is equal to 0. You will have to subtract 144 instead of completing the square. So this will give you minus 144. So we will end up with x squared plus 18x minus 144 is equal to 0. Remember from algebra 1, you will have to do factor, so that will be x and x. 144 is either 18 times 6, but you want to be negative. This will be, that will be 24 times 6, 24 times 6, but you want to be negative. This will be negative, so that will be x plus 24 and x minus 6. So that you have to be good at factor also. So you have your two options, either x plus 24 is equal to 0 and x minus 6 is equal to 0. That's how you're going to find your two answers. So you subtract 24 on this side and you subtract 24 on the other side. Then you will have x is equal to negative 24. In this case, you will have to add 6. You add 6. In this case, you will have the other x, which is positive 6. So the other option will have this quadratic formula. So I already do videos on those prerequisites. It's your duty and obligation to go find these videos. Remember, I'm not teaching algebra, I'm a geometry teacher. So I'm telling you, those are the prerequisites that you will have to go and revisit again to master those concepts. Alright, so let's solve the other equation. We have this here. So it's the external part, which is RP. You will have RP times RQ is equal to the external part of this, which is RT times RS. That will give you your equation. Now remember, PR is 9, RP is 9, and RQ, in order to get RQ, that will be 10 plus X. You will have times this X plus 10. RT, that's wrong, totally wrong. Alright, RP, which is 9, RQ, that would be 9 plus 11, is equal to RC which is 10, times RS which is 10 plus X, which is X plus 10, same thing. Now you simplify, we'll have 9 times 9 plus 11 is 20. Now you do distributive property. You will have 10x plus 100 is equal 9 times 20 is 180. Then you will have this 10x plus 100 is equal to 180. Now we can solve for x. In this case, we subtract 100 from inside. Then you will have 10x is equal to 80. Now how can you find x? You divide by 10. In this case, x is equal to 8. This equation was much easier because it did not create quadratic equation. Therefore, x is 8. So let's verify that. Remember, this gives you 180. Let's see if the other one is gives you 180 also. This will be 10 times 10 plus 8, which is 18. As you can see, 10 times 18 is 180. And those two secants will give you the same outcome. So this is the objective of this lesson, how to deal with two secants. So you take the external part of the secant and you multiply it by the entire secant is equal to the other secant. External part multiplied by the entire secant. So let's do a couple examples. We are resuming our lesson on how to solve two secant. Remember, you take the external part of the secant and multiply by the entire secant. In this case, the external part of the secant is AB. So you will have AB times the entire secant, which is AC, should equal to the other external part of the secant. In this case, that will be AD times the entire secant, which is AE. Then that will be your model equation. The only thing that you have to do now is substitute. In this case, AB is 8. Now to get to AC, AC will be AB. Alright, AC is AB plus BC to get to AC. In this case, that will be 8 plus 10 is equal to 80. In this case, 80 is X times the entire part of this secant, which is AE. To get AE, AE is AD plus DE to get AE. So you will end up with X plus 18. Now in this case, we will simplify. We will have 8 times 18 is equal to X squared. Alright, plus 18x. Then you multiply 8 by 18, that will give you 4, carry 6, that will give you 8, 144. Then you will have this. In this case, you will end up with a quadratic. So you can do completely square. You square that, take half of that, that will give you 9, then you square it, that will give you 81, then you add 81 on this side. So we'll end up with 225 is equal to x plus 9 squared. Then in this case, we'll have to take the square root of each side. You will have plus or minus 15 is equal to x plus 9. Then you subtract 9 from each side. Then you will have x is equal minus 9 plus or minus 15. Plus or minus 15. It's either you have x is equal to negative 9 plus 15 is 6, or you have x minus 9 minus 15 is negative 24. Those are your two possible solutions. Since you don't want your distance to be negative, you will have to reject that. Then 6 is your is the best answer. Alright, now let's continue using the next problem. So your prior knowledge is extremely important in this lesson. So for second problem, so you may use some of that mess. So you will end up with the following situation. That will be Lj, which is the external part. This part Lj, you take the external part, which is Lj, and which is 6 times the entire secant, which is LH. Now to find LH, LH is Lj plus JH. So that's what we'll have to do. In this case, Lj, which is 6, plus JH, which is 10. You're done with that secant, is equal to the other secant. The external part is Ln. In this case, Lm is 8. You replace 8 times Ln. Now remember, to find Ln is Lm plus Mn. That will give you that. So what is Lm? Lm is 8 plus Mn, which is x. So that will be your equation. In this case, you end up with 6 times 16. That is equal, this will be the property. That will be 64 plus 8x. Then you have 6 times 16, that gives you 36, carry 3. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3 is 9, that will give you 96. 64 plus 8x. In this case, you subtract 64 from each side. Then you have 8x is equal to 32. Then how do you find x? So divide by 8. In this case, x is 4. Right? This will be 4. Right? This, when you do 6 times 16, that will give you 96. So this will be 8 times 8 plus 4 should equal to 96. Now you will have 8 times 12, which is 96. That's how you justify that, if you ever have intention to justify your answer. So the math, as long that you follow those properties and you got your A game, so it doesn't matter who's doing it. You just need to know how to add, multiply, use order of operation correctly, and everything will come naturally. Alright, let's try to do the last one. In this case, let's solve it before we call it equate. Then you can have many options. This is this one, so let's clean some of the mess. So is that, then in this case, so far the external part is AB. You will have AB, which is 4, right, time AC. In order to find AC, in this case, AC is AB plus BC. That will give you AC. In this case, AB is 4 plus AC, which is 18. Then you're done with that first secant. The second secant will be AD, the external part, which is 6. we'll have 6, right, times the entire secant, which is AE. Now to get to AE is AD plus DE. That will give you AE. So what is AD? AD is 6. What is DE? DE is X. And that is your equation. Now the only thing you have to do is simplify that and take it home. So when you have 4 plus 18 is 22 is equal, distributed 4 by the 6 times 6 is 36, and 6 times x is 6x. Now you multiply that, 4 times 22 is 88, is equal to 36 plus 6x. In this case, you subtract 36 from each side. This cancel, you will end up with 6x equal, that will be from 8 is 2, and from that is 552, and you divide by 6. In this case, does not go evenly. You can simplify that by 2. That will give you 26 over 3. That is the value of x. And that was our lesson. This is in another one. Just go, like, share, and move on with your life and make the grade. Peace out.